We're back on Morning Movers. One day after Palantir hits an all-time high, Mizuho upgrading the stock to neutral from underperform due to what it says is, quote, stunning momentum. The analyst boosting his price target to $135 from $116, which is still about $14 below the current price. The firm says it has underestimated Palantir commercial and government segments and that the company has a legitimate chance of accelerating growth for a fifth straight quarter. Keep in mind, Palantir up more than 400% over the past 52 weeks. Time now for Options Corner. Joining us to take a deeper look at Palantir is Rick Ducat, lead market technician. So this analyst coming to the sidelines from underperform here. And look, Palantir has been like just this rocket. What are the trends that you notice when you look at the chart for Palantir, Rick?
Yes, exactly, Diane. I don't think I need to spend too terribly much on this chart. Palantir's up 418% versus the S&P and its sector up like, 10, 11% here. That pretty much speaks for itself. But we find ourselves at an inflection point for this particular stock here. What I mean is that we had a high point from back here. Price held the line. We made a volume node near about 125, 126. After we rallied, that was a low point. We had another breakout. We tested the old highs once again, 133. Now, price is once again testing its most recent highs, this time at our red line near 148. Perhaps even going to push into further all-time highs at this point. Our channel would project potential resistance near maybe 160 or so. But stunning momentum is interesting because from a purely technical study here from the RSI, momentum is actually showing bearish divergence here. So momentum is at resistance at the same time as price. So really an important moment here.
Okay, so an important moment there. Rick, really quickly, any options activity, unusual options activity you notice?
Sure. So for the calls, mostly between 140 to 165 for open interest. Expected move here, about a 10-point range plus or minus here for this stock. Most activity at 155. On the put side, mostly 125 to 150 is the open interest, but actually the most is at the 80 level.
Okay, the most is at the 80 level. Thanks, Rick. Now, to take us through an example trade, we've got Tom White, senior options contributor, and the other half of Fast Market. So, Tom, what's the approach for an example trade for Palantir, especially given this rocket run that it's been on and this analyst move today?
Yeah, I think a lot of investors either scratching their head or are bummed out that they maybe missed the move to the upside here. As Rick mentioned, the stock's up over 400% over the last 12 months. They report earnings on the 4th of August, so I want to kind of avoid that event, but maybe take a more cautious approach to this stock. Is for PE valuation over 240 at this point, so elevated by any stretch of the imagination. Probably the largest, PE, that outsized on a forward-looking basis. So looked at something a little bit more conservative in the August 1st weekly cycle. So just about 2.5 weeks till expiration. You're going to avoid that earnings event. I think that's really key, while still taking maybe a bullish directional bias to this position, where I'm going to sell the 145 strike put out of the money to the downside by about $4.5, $5, and then against it, because we want to stay risk defined in these high beta names, by the 140 strike put. So you're selling a neutral to bullish $5 wide put vertical. You're going to collect roughly about a $1.50 credit if the stock opens up here just below 150. That's what you can make on this trade, $150 with $350 in risk. But it takes your break even down to 143.50 to the downside. That gives you nearly a 4% cushion to that break even. So while you're still taking that directional bias, you're giving yourself a better probability of success. You got about a 60% probability that short 145 strike is out of the money at expiration, which is what you want. You want this thing to just go out at zero, and you get to keep that $150. Now, this is one of those strategies you can do over and over again, right? Say you missed the move up, but you want to get in there in a bullish stance. Well, selling out of the money put verticals in a name like this might be that way to play it, as opposed to maybe buying the call vertical. If you bought the 150 call, sold the 160 call in that same August 5th weekly cycle, you're actually going to need that move to the upside. What if it doesn't move to the upside and just kind of stalls out? So with this type of strategy, the short put vertical, you can still profit if the stock goes up, stays where it is, or even goes a little bit lower. Just want it to stay above that 143.50 break even level.
Okay, break even 143.50 for this example trade for Palantir. But great point you made about what the forward PE looks like for it. Thank you, Tom.